Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ayan Rafiq and I am a foundation level student at Han School Islamabad campus. Today I am going to conduct an AI session with Maya. In this session I will ask few questions and Maya will provide answers. So let's start. Okay Maya, my first question is, what is software?
Software, the invisible engine behind almost everything we touch. Think of it as the set of instructions that tells your computer exactly what to do. If hardware is the body, software is the mind. Hardware is the screen, the processor, the keyboard, but without software, those are just expensive paperweights. Software is what breathes life into them. It ranges from the operating system like Windows or Mac OS, which manages the entire machine, down to the specific apps you use, like a browser or a game. It's essentially a way for humans to communicate complex logic to a machine in a language it can actually execute. What part of that interests you most?
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between software and hardware?
So, the $1,000,000 question, think of it like a piano and the sheet music. The piano is the hardware. You can touch it. It's made of wood and metal. It's the physical thing that makes the sound. The sheet music is the software. It's the set of instructions that tells the piano player which keys to hit and when. If you have the piano but no music, you're just staring at a big box of strings. If you have the music but no piano, you have a beautiful idea but no way to actually hear it. One is the physical tool, one is the physical tool, the other is the instructions. One is the physical tool, the other is the logic that makes it useful. Where are we headed next?
Okay, my next question is, what are the main type of software?
Broadly speaking, you can split it into two big buckets. You've got system software and application software. System software is like the foundation of a house. It's the operating system that handles the gritty work, like managing memory and talking to the hardware so the rest of the machine actually functions. Then you have application software, which is where most of us spend our time. It's everything from your web browser and Spotify to the spreadsheets your boss loves. One keeps the lights on and the other actually does the work. Which one do you want to dig into first?
Okay, my next question is, what is system software?
That's the invisible muscle of your computer. It's the layer that sits directly on the hardware and translates human readable commands into something the machine actually understands. Think of it as the middleman or the director of the whole operation. It's managing your RAM, talking to your CPU, and making sure your hard drive knows exactly where to store your files. Without it, your computer wouldn't even know how to turn on its own screen, let alone run an app. The most famous example is your operating system, whether Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. It's essentially the software that allows other software to exist. Uh, does that click, or do you want me to break down a specific part of that process?
Okay, my next question is, what is application software?
This is where things actually get useful for us. While system software is the engine, application software is the driver. It's the part you actually interact with to get a specific task done, whether that's writing an essay, editing a photo, or scrolling through a feed. If system software is the stage, application software is the actual play. What's the next one on your list?
Okay, my next question is, what is programming?
Programming is the art of talking to a machine. It's the process of taking a human idea, breaking it down into a series of logical steps, and translating those steps into a language a computer can actually execute. Think of it like writing a recipe for someone who follows instructions literally, but doesn't have any common sense. If you miss a single step or use the wrong word, the whole thing falls apart. It's essentially a way to automate thought, turning complex logic into a set of rules that can be repeated millions of times a second without a single mistake.
Okay, my next question is, what is coding?
Coding is the actual act of writing the instructions. If programming is the architecture, coding is the actual bricklaying. It's the specific process of taking that logic and turning it into the syntax of a language like Python or Java so the machine can run it. It's the translation part of the equation.
Okay, my next question is, how is software developed?
I think your voice took a little detour there. I'm guessing you're asking how software is developed. Say that again for me, just to be sure.
Yes, my question is, how is software developed?
Oh, the whole life cycle. It's way more than just typing lines of code. It's basically a cycle. First, you've got the planning and analysis phase where you figure out exactly what the problem is and what you're actually trying to solve. Then comes the design, which is like drawing the blueprint before you start building. After that is actual implementation, where the coding happens. Once it's built, you hit the testing phase, which is where you try to break everything to make sure it actually works before it hits a real user. And finally, there's the maintenance phase because software is never really done. It's just in a state of constant updates and bug fixes. It's a big loop that just keeps spinning. Does that flow make sense to you?
Okay, my next question is, what does a software developer do?
A software developer is essentially a professional problem solver. They don't just type code all day. That's actually the last step of their job. They spend most of their time figuring out the logic of the problem, designing how a feature should work, and then hunting down bugs when things go sideways. It's a mix of architect, translator, and detective. What's next on your list?
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between a software engineer and a programmer?
It's a bit like the difference between a carpenter and an architect. A programmer is focused on the code itself, writing the actual lines that make a program run. An engineer takes a broader view, applying engineering principles to the whole system, from scalability to how different parts of the software interact. You could say one is about building the feature, and the other is about designing the system that allows that feature to live and grow.
Okay, my next question is, uh, how does AI help in software development? My next question is, what is Chat GPT?
A favorite classic? Think of it as a supercharged version of autocomplete. It's a large language model trained on an unbelievable amount of text, so it's basically a pro at predicting the next most likely word in a sentence. It's great for brainstorming or getting a rough draft started, but it's definitely not a source of absolute truth.
Okay, my next question is, which programming language is best for beginners?
Python's the one. It reads a lot like actual English, which means you can focus on learning how to solve problems instead of fighting with confusing syntax. It's basically the universal starting point these days. Next software question, but I'm more curious about the logistics of gaming in Asana. Do the controllers survive the steam?
Okay, my next question is, why is Python so popular?
It's basically the MVP of the coding world. Like I mentioned, it's readable, so it's friendly for beginners. But what really pushed it over the top is how it's become the go-to for AI and data science. When everyone's using the same tool for the coolest new tech, it just creates this like snowball effect where more libraries and more support keep piling up. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of languages now.
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between Python and Java?
Think of it as a choice between simplicity and structure. Python is like writing in a notebook. It's flexible, easy to read, and gets you to the answer quickly. Java is more like filling out a formal government document. You have to be way more specific and follow strict rules, but that makes it incredibly stable for massive corporate apps. Python wins for speed of development in AI, while Java is the powerhouse for large scale enterprise systems.
Okay, my next question is, what is HTML?
That's the skeleton of the internet. It's not actually a programming language, but a markup language. It basically tells the browser this part is a heading, this is a paragraph, and this is a link. It's the bare bones. And then you add CSS to make it pretty and JavaScript to make it actually do things.
Okay, my next question is, what is CSS?
That's where the style comes in. Well, HTML handles the structure. CSS is like the paint, the furniture, and the layout. It controls the colors, the fonts, and exactly where everything sits on the page. Essentially, it's what takes a plain, boring list of text and turns it into something that actually looks like a modern website.
Okay, my next question is, what is JavaScript?
That's the brain of the operation. If HTML is the skeleton and CSS is the skin, JavaScript is the nervous system. It's the programming language that makes things interactive. Like when a menu slides out, a pop up appears or content updates without the page refreshing. It turns a static brochure into an actual app.
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between a website and software?
It's a fine line, but think of it like the difference between a billboard and a tool. A website is primarily for delivering information. It's like a digital brochure you view in a browser. Software is designed to perform a specific task or solve a problem, whether it's a spreadsheet, a video editor, or a game. That said, the line gets blurry because modern websites like Gmail or Google Docs are basically full software applications that just happen to live in a browser tab.
Okay, my next question is, what is desktop software?
That's the stuff you install directly on your machine.
My question is, what is desktop software?
Desktop software is just that software that's built to live right on your computer's hard drive. Think of it like owning a physical book instead of just reading a blog post. Because installed locally, doesn't need a browser to run and usually has direct access to your computer's horsepower. That's why things like heavy video editors or high-end games or desktop software, they need all that raw power to do their thing without waiting on a Wi-Fi connection.
Okay, my next question is, how are mobile app created?
It's like choosing the right tool for the job. Basically, you've got native apps, which are built specifically for one system, like iOS using Swift or Android using Kotlin. They're fast and feel polished because they speak the system's language fluently. Then there are cross platform frameworks like Flutter or React Native, where you write one piece of code and it runs on both. It's a bit like a translator translating one book for two different audiences instead of writing two separate books from scratch. It's faster and cheaper, but occasionally it loses a bit of that native polish. What else is on your list?
Okay, my next question is,
Still with me?
what is software bug?
Wait, are we looping? I feel like we've been here a few times now. Just to keep it fresh. Software is basically the set of instructions that tells your hardware what to do. It's the invisible logic that makes your phone or laptop actually useful.
Okay, my next question is, what is an API?
Um, think of it as a digital waiter. You're the customer at a restaurant, and the kitchen is the system that holds the data. You don't walk into the kitchen and start flipping burgers yourself. Instead, you give your order to the waiter and they bring the food back to you. The API is that waiter taking your request, telling the system what you want, and then delivering the result back to your app.
Okay, my next question is, what is a database?
Think of it as the ultimate digital filing cabinet, the structured system for storing and organizing massive amounts of information so you can find exactly what you need in a fraction of a second. While a spreadsheet is great for a small list, a database is what powers things like Amazon's inventory or your Spotify playlists, handling millions of entries without breaking a sweat.
Okay, my next question is, why is software testing important?
It's basically the don't embarrass yourself phase of development because there's nothing worse than launching a feature that crashes on minute one. Testing is where you find the bugs before your users do, which means the difference between a seamless experience and a digital disaster. It's all about making sure the app actually does what it's supposed to do and doesn't accidentally delete a user's data in the process. What's next?
Okay, my next question is, uh, what is open source software?
It's basically the community garden of the coding world. Instead of a company keeping their code a secret like a recipe in a vault, open source is where the blueprint is public for anyone to see, use, or even improve. Think of things like Linux or WordPress. Because so many people can peek under the hood, bugs get found faster and the whole project tends to evolve a lot quicker.
Okay, my next question is, what is an operating system?
That's the boss of your computer. Imagine it as the office manager for your hardware. Your CPU, RAM, and hard drive are all great at their jobs, but they don't know how to talk to each other. The operating system, like Windows or Mac OS, steps in to handle the logistics, deciding who gets which resource and when. Without it, your computer would just be a collection of parts with no idea how to actually run an app. What else is on the list?
Okay, my next question is, what is Git?
Git is basically a time machine for your code. Imagine you're writing a massive novel. Instead of saving 10 different versions like Final Draft B2, really, final dot doc renml prime, Git lets you take a snapshot of your work at any given moment. If you try a bold new chapter and it turns into a complete train wreck, you can just hit a button and teleport back to exactly where the story actually worked. It's how developers experiment without the fear of breaking everything permanently.
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between Windows and Linux?
It's kind of like the difference between a luxury resort and a custom own build home. Windows is the luxury resort. Everything is set up for you, it just works. And you don't have to worry about the plumbing. It's built for convenience. So it's the go to for most people and almost every piece of mainstream software. Linux, on the other hand, is like a custom build home. You get the blueprints, the raw materials, and total control. It's way more flexible and powerful, but you actually have to be willing to get your hands dirty to make it work. That's why it's the king of servers and the playground for developers, but maybe a bit too intense for someone who just wants to check their email and watch a movie.
So viewers, this is the session for Maya. Today we will meet you in another Maya session. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज, पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद.
I love these.